if you're sat at home listening to this, and let's say you want to be a health coach, you're going, well, why not? Well, I can do that. Says who? What do you mean? You can't do it. Anybody can do it. Anyone can do anything. It's 2024. You can make $1 million on your computer these days. I mean, come on. Get out there and do it. I mean, you know, what if I fail? What if you succeed?
Southwest Florida is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. For those of you that are thinking of moving from other states to come to Florida, or even just moving to a different part of the state, I want you to think of a big, beautiful luxury home. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. They are a family-owned and operated luxury residential construction company. As a family-owned business, they believe in the power of building not just homes, but legacies. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. The nightmare of feeling like you'll never measure up, of constant second guessing and self-doubt. It eats away at you and destroys your confidence. I've been there too, feeling like I didn't belong on the field with my teammates, but it doesn't have to stay that way. I used to compare myself to everyone around me. I thought that no matter how hard I worked, I'd never be as good as the other guys. It killed my self-belief. I now help athletes develop an elite mindset so comparison no longer controls them. We teach techniques to cut out the negative self-talk and unlock their full potential. Imagine stepping into the box when it counts the most and feeling totally confident in your ability, feeling invincible instead of insecure, ready to seize the opportunity instead of shrinking from it. That's the mindset I help athletes develop. Don't waste another minute on comparison and self-doubt. Take control of your mindset and become the confident, unstoppable competitor you are meant to be. DM or comment below to get started with Edge and transform your local game.
Social media is a critical part of your game. Our easy-to-use app takes the hassle and guesswork out of posting, and our innovative marketing strategy will get you noticed. It's time to break away from the crowd and stand out. Start your athlete narrative today.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Shawn, and today I have with me one of the most amazing and world-renowned recovery specialists, Dr. Robb Kelly. What's up, baby?
What's up, Shawn? Hey, guys. Good to see you all. Hang on to your seats because this is going to be a shocker.
It is going to be a good one. I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened yet.
I know.
We have so many people in common, and you know, it's like I see you everywhere, and I'm like, why haven't we connected yet? And then, you know, you shot me a DM, or someone on your team did. I'm like, dude, there's a sign. Let's rock this, baby.
Do it. Yeah,
let's do it, man.
Love it.
So, hey, man, how are you doing this? Is it morning where you're at? Afternoon? Where are you at?
It's 12 o'clock.
Okay. Oh, so you're Central time.
It's good.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, look, I'm super grateful to have you on. You've been on a number of my friends' podcasts, such as Jillian, Riddell, Kelly Siegel. And what I really love about a lot what you're talking about is not about addiction, your theory about treating it, right? Not the symptoms, but the cause. So let's get down to it and talk to the audience a little bit about that, because I don't think they know what's coming for them.
Well, the thing is, guys sat at home, is most things around alcoholism and addiction, living a good life, childhood trauma is wrong, what you've probably been told. And the reason why I say this is over 30 years and 8,000 patients with a 97% success rate. It's all about the neuroscience, man. It's not the alcohol and drugs. Alcohol has 1% to do with alcoholism, and the same with every other addiction. So what's the real cause? You see, I know the problem. Yeah, so I'm not going to go to a treatment center, remind me an alcoholic, here's some alcohol, blah, blah, blah. What's the problem? Why can't I stop drinking? Why am I a menace in society when I take alcohol or drugs into me? Why am I depressed most of the time? Why am I isolating? It's all that stuff. Childhood trauma is the gateway drug, not marijuana. Childhood trauma, everything you do today, it goes back to what happened to you in the past. Everything that you do. If you date a certain guy, go back and see what your caregivers were like. If you self-sabotage a relationship because you don't think you're worthy, go back and see what the caregivers told you. So by doing this, we found that our success rate ballooned. In actual fact, we do 25% of our work pro bono. Everybody in my company must carry a pro bono. When I get that out of the way, I deal with A-listers. That's my job. So I deal with them, and then obviously 25% I carry a pro bono. But yeah, the real truth has been hidden. If we can't give you a pharmaceutical drug and they can't stick you in hospital or treatment for 30 days at $100 million a week or whatever they charge you, nobody wants to know. My biggest thing is there is a solution out there where you can fully recover from that crap that you're going through.
Dude, I just love your energy, man. I just got to tell you that before I get into what I'm going to say. Absolutely freaking love it. I'm thinking about certain things in my life that I do now as an adult, right? Like a lot of times I'll start to get in really good shape and then I'll sabotage the shit out of myself by, binge eating, or I'll use a day that it was a bad day, right? Or it was a good day. So I'm going to celebrate. And I find my comfort and celebration in food. And it's something that, it's been one of those things that's happened to me year over year over year. And I'm wondering where that comes from. It has to be something from my childhood, right? And I'm fighting like hell right now because I'm on a roll again. And for the first time, I don't crave anything like that. Like I feel like I'm finally there, right? But I'm just wondering,
First of all,
because I can remember.
Anybody out there, ask yourself, when you say, God, there's a bad day today, was it really a bad day? Or was it 5 minutes you spread all over the day? Well, the trauma again. Some people, because of their background and upbringing, need to be in the drama and trauma place all the time because that's their added way of communicating with people. And if it isn't chaos around them, then you feel left out and it feels weird. The reason why the basal ganglia is our repetition, strength, and confirms part of the brain. It's like a pilot needs 10,000 hours in the air, does the same thing over again, and almost he can land the plane blindfolded. That's our repetition thing. But what happens with certain people, and not alcoholics and addicts, just childhood trauma victims and stuff that we go through in our life, like growing up really dirt poor, what happens is we start on our track and everything seems to go good, and then we're dieting, we're training, now we're looking good, and at 10 to the hour, bang, we self-sabotage. And that will happen all of the time until you go back to the scene of the crime and clear that up. It's like a girl, a young girl, 6, 7, 8, 9, in the household where the father is an alcoholic and causes chaos. So he comes in most nights, he's drunk, he has an argument, he fist fights with the wife. There's a couple of things, this is really interesting, a couple of things that girl learns at an early age is one is to listen to the key going in the lock. If the key goes straight in, she can stay. If it jiggles around a bit, she has to run and hide. So she sees these on a daily basis. So as children, what we see is how we feel. We watch a sad movie, we feel sad. But what we hear, we believe to be the truth. So what happens to that young girl as she goes into her teens and gets a boyfriend is she attracts with her energy the same guy that will end up violent and probably drinking too much, because that is the norm when she's grown up. So the fact that if she does meet somebody who's really kind and generous to her, she will self-sabotage that relationship because she doesn't think she's good enough to be in that relationship.
You got me thinking about something here, and I want to ask a question, right? So all of these things, we have to go back to the scene of the crime to understand what the symptom is, why, at the very core of us, why this is going on. Would that be something like timeline therapy? How would one go through some shit like that to even remember? Because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
Yeah. Well, obviously timeline is good. We use tools like brain spotting, NLP, stuff like that. Because what happens with brain spotting, for instance, is it's through the pupils into the subconscious brain. So we're seeing things with the eye movements that they don't recall, but we do this procedure a couple of times, then that memory is recalled. You see, what happens is everything we see here, feel, touch, good news, bad news, whatever, is stored in the subconscious brain. Okay, this is all the bad stuff that we try and hide that away so we don't need it. And here's the conscious brain today. Yeah. So what happens is the prefrontal cortex wants to come up with a solution. That's its only job, by the way. Come up with a solution as quick as possible to my problem. The only problem with that is it doesn't have to be the right solution. So what happens is this: when I start to get too busy, I don't know what I'm doing, give me an answer, go straight to the subconscious brain, where all that crap, you waste of time, you're no good, relapse, eat more, you're useless, you never fit in. And it keeps going back there. Okay, so this guy here, the conscious brain, so 24 hours at a time is not an AA thing, guys. goes back way before that. What we need to do is try and get the conscious brain here coming from the prefrontal cortex to that. But you see, this is what happens. You get up every morning, routine, do the work in the morning. And I'm going to give you some things like change your day tomorrow. Okay, so what happens is I get up in the morning and I do my mirror work, my teeth work, my breathe. I get all that and I walk out the door like this. This guy's good. This guy's going to get 24 hours in and do what he can. This guy is the guy you want to hang around with. But have a guess who wakes you up tomorrow morning? It's this guy. And that's why repetition, strengthen, confirms with any routine or anything you want to do in life. And then we get into the mind. Oh, it's crazy what you can achieve, what you've been told you can't achieve. So the circuitry of the brain will self-sabotage and you'll become what's known as an imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I think that's a lot when people get started. And, I know I felt this way when I started my podcast. It's something I always had wanted to do. And then when I started it, I had that feeling of like, what do I even have to say? Who is even going to care? And, the people who know me know what kind of jackass I was back in the early 2000s, or, it's like my credibility, I feel, wasn't there. Right. And then I got into that imposter syndrome. Right. And I had to really work through it. I don't feel it anymore. But like before, dude, that shit was hard.
And that's the stuff that stops us, guys. That's the stuff that stops us, It's just the time's never going to be right, by the way, guys. If you're thinking about dating that girl, buying that house, then do it now. The time, just like you're never ready to have a baby, it just happens. Same thing with life, man. And we'll get into it later. It's like you can have anything you want. Without anything you want to put your mind to, you can have, you can hold. There's no doubt about that. And Shawn, people used to say to me years ago, okay, well, I can't be president of the United States just trying to be smart. Forget your political views for a second, guys. We had a freaking businessman running the country with no political experience whatsoever. Dare you tell me you can't do anything you put your mind to, because it's just not true.
Yeah. I'm pretty headstrong in a lot of things, Rob. And I think it comes from being, a former Division I athlete. I was a baseball player at Louisiana State University, and I failed big time with my mental performance mindset, just not good enough. All I heard in the background was, if you don't make it to the major leagues, you're not going to be shit because you don't have any other skills. See, that was a narrative that my father put out there that I chose to buy into. My fault, right? 50% my fault, maybe even more my fault. I can't fault him for having his limiting beliefs, right? I mean, like, whatever, they are what they are. But as time went on, man, like I just realized that where I'm at right now, I say things and people look at me like I got two freaking heads because I know where I'm going. And in fact, before we hopped on our call, I'm talking with a gentleman, one of my good buddies, Kyle Butler. And we have a lot going on with, certain big sports groups. And, there's going to be a lot of there's going to be some changes in this show and it's going to blow up. I can't even say it on the air right now because I don't want to let it up. But the bottom line is when I tell certain people that, they're like, how are you going to pull that off? It's like, dude, it's already done. What are you talking about? It's not about if, it's when.
Exactly.
And it's now.
Right now. The time is now. It really is. And I have a saying for them guys, is says who. I've been, you can't do this. Says who? Well, that's the marriage way. Marriage it says who? Who's saying this shit that I don't like? We're going to change it. You can't build a multi-million, $100 million company after coming off the streets. Said who? Don't.
There's been plenty of people that have done it.
And it's also our environment. You hang around 9 depressed people. Guess what? You become the 10th. Same with successful people. And again, if only people knew the power of the mind that leaks into the brain, leaks into central nervous system, leaks into our actions and thought patterns going forward, you would be literally mind blown. This is how people move towards success and achieve their goals. I mean, if you're sat at home listening to this, and let's say you want to be a health coach, and you go, well, why not? Well, I don't think I can do that. Says who? What do you mean? You can't do it. Anybody can do it. Anyone can do anything. It's 2024. You can make $1 million on your computer these days. I mean, come on, get out there and do it. I mean, what if I fail? Or what if you succeed?
Dad, what if, how about that? And it's funny because I know the audience is sitting here at home or in their cars right now listening to this. or maybe getting their pump on in the gym. They're like, okay, that's great, Dr. Kelly. Like, but how? How do I get started shifting my perspective and my paradigms to feel like, okay, I can make an impact in those, between the 6 inches between my ears? How do I bring that outward?
So a lot of things we do are patterns. I get up in the morning, we do this, da 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 da. Oh, today's going to be really hard because, and we tell ourselves it becomes really hard. So a lot of it is internal dialogue and the way we set our mind up in the morning. We can set our mind up to control our brain. So it's really important that, let's say you want to be a coach, but you've seen other people do it. Take steps forward, take the course or whatever it is, get the website name. Buy it and then practice in front of the camera and then start believing, and then patterns come in. If you get up and do the same thing every day, you're stagnant. Stagnant people in my industry die. Literally mean die, although they can do, but they die. I knew a friend of mine, he died at 34, but he lived until he was 65.
That's miserable, man.
It's like change your patterns in the morning, change your routines. And then 100%, like in the morning when you get up tomorrow. Okay, so let's say we have a coach at home now who wants to be, but he's a little bit too scared, he can't do it. Let's change the neural pathways tomorrow morning, okay? Get up in the morning. One of the reasons why no one ever has wake up laughing in the morning. Nobody ever has woke up laughing is lack of oxygen. So on a normal circadian rhythm sleep pattern, between the hours of 2 and 5 in the mornings when we're into that repair, it's also when most people die of natural causes, okay? We only breathe 25% of our lung capacity and capability. I want to get that straight away. Presence of oxygen, when oxygen is present, is the lack of disease. So every cancer's growth, everything that we suffer from, grow in our body in a hypoxic area, okay? So what I want you to do tomorrow morning is get up and I want you to take 20 exaggerated breaths in. Do 20 of those. Hold on to the bed because you're going to go a little bit dizzy. And let's saturate the brain and every single cell in your body. Let's saturate with oxygen. Now you're clear-headed. Now you're awake. Now you're ready to go. Okay, you go into the bathroom. Stand 6 feet away from the mirror, because if you get close up to the mirror, the pupils pick all the blemishes that we have. Guys, when's the last time you were in the office and said, hey, buddy, how you doing? Nice to see you. Step 6 foot away from the mirror where the blemishes disappear and say, I love you 10 times. Let's store that subconscious brain. And then let's change neural pathways. If you brush your teeth with your right hand, brush with your left for a week, right for a week, left for a week, right for a week, that will permanently change and route the neural pathways and brain patterns. So all of a sudden now you've broke the pattern. Now what can I do? I can't express enough, guys, anything you want to do. Literally anything you want to. You want to become CEO of that multi-billion-dollar company? That is possible. The only reason why that guy's doing it and you're not is he knows and believes he can do it. See, I'm a big believer in don't have a plan B. If you were, and Arnold Schwarzenegger told me this many years ago in the 70s when I met him, he says don't have a plan B, because if you have a plan B, forget a plan A. And that seems to be working. When I met Arnold, he told me he could hardly speak English. This was in the late 70s. He just had a movie come out called Pumping Iron, underground movie. Mm-hmm. And he was showing in Manchester, and I was good enough to pick him up. And he told me 3 things. He said, you know what I'm going to do in broken English? He said, first of all, I'm going to be a governor of a state in America and hopefully California, LA. We're like, okay, well, that's crazy, but that's not going to happen. And the second thing he said, he's going to become the highest paid movie star in the world. Well, obviously that's not going to happen because he can't speak English. So that was laughable. He fell off the couch listening to that one. But the third one was interesting. He said, I'm going to marry into the Kennedy family. Check, check, and freaking check. And I never forget that. And that's what I've done going forward is I've used that methodology of check, check, and check. You really can do anything you want to do.
It's amazing. So for the audience there that may have missed it, I want to go back over those 3 things, right? So in the morning, lack of oxygen, right? So take 20 big exaggerated breaths, and I want you to hold on to your bed because you're going to be off balance. Fill those lungs up, right? And then go downstairs or go to your mirror in the bathroom, stand 6 feet away and say, I love you 10 times.
No other affirmations. Don't get the brain confused.
Yep. Just, I love you. And again, like that one's important enough because I'm going to tell you, it sounds very simple, but that shit's going to be hard for a lot of people to look, because you know what you did the night before, right? You know, and you're looking at your past instead of the present in that moment, right? And that's the problem. So, you know, guys, the I love yous, the 10 I love yous, I would imagine it would bring you to your knees and some tears, right? At the very beginning. And then, you know, oppo brushing, you know, you're righty, you know, switch it up, brush your teeth with your left hand. That's cool stuff, man. Really cool
Anything
stuff.
you can change from the norm, you're changing and you're rerouting neural pathways that take you down the same place with the same result every single time.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's also a really good story about Arnold Schwarzenegger too, because, you know, there's a lot of times where, you know, we all, when I started talking about doing my podcast, people laughed. People laughed. They laughed their ass off. I'm like, well, all right, cool. Good for you. Because I know where this thing's going. And I started it in my VW Atlas. I started it in an SUV, right? And then we got into the den in my house, and then we had a sign, and then we had a better sign in a background. Now this shit's about to go on tour. I said it. So, you know, that there's the notice, guys. There's the notice, and it's going to be fun. I'm not thinking if it happens or how could it happen. I think that's where people get so locked in, Dr. Kelly, on, well, how? Bro, fuck the how. Just go. Focus on the process. Put it out there. Know that's what's going to happen. And eventually a door is going to open, and you better be ready to sprint through that son of a bitch.
Yeah. And here's the deal, guys. They've been opening around you all the time, but you've never seen it. You've not expanded your mind. You've not, you know, you're closed in this, like having blinkers on all the time. When you start doing these routines and doing, you know, the oxygen and amongst other things during the day, all these doors you'll see open and go, oh my God, opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. If you're a God guy like me, every single day I see miracles. Every day I see miracles. Never saw them when I was drunk or miserable or depressed or bipolar. Never saw them then. But you get in this state of mind, and higher power, universe, Uncle Jimmy, God, whatever you want to call it, has a connection. So how important is that? When you reroute neural pathways, it's called neuroplasticity, reroute them, get a connection with some spirit, because it's very important, your DNA changes. Why is that important? You're not the same guy when you came to us and when you leave. That's very important. We let go, you're reborn again, you get new energy, you get new focus. And, you know, it's really important that you do succeed, whatever success looks like for you. Because I can tell you one thing, guys, I've been poor and I've been wealthy. And obviously I choose wealthy every time, but it won't buy you happiness. It's an inside job. So when you're walking around on a daily basis with that internal dialogue going on, unless you voice what you want to do, this internal dialogue will control. So this is saying, you can't do that, or you're going to speak somewhere, you waste of time. Says who? That's what I do. And it's like,
I love
all
it.
of a sudden I can hear, says who? And I'm ready to go. Because left to these devices here, I'm going to be locked up at home in a 1-bedroom rented apartment, not shaven for 6 or 7 weeks, drunk, pissed off, angry at the world, and eventually die. That's the alternative for anybody. I never want to get anybody to 80 or 90 and go, oh, if only I would have done that. You know, it's like, no, do it. What's the worst can happen? I signed a deal in Dallas, Texas on my medical offices there. It was something like, I don't know, $1 million for so many years. And the guy came up to me and he said, how are you going to sleep at nighttime? That's a lot of money to owe. And I said, what the hell can they do to me that I have already done to myself? What are they going to do? Take Christmas away? And when you get to that mindset, you push yourself beyond your belief. And then what happens, like when you get rich, get the car, or when you become the best father, or when you become the best son, what happens is it becomes normal. You know, we get that new car, we can't stop looking at it, and then we just drive it. We get that new house. If I can just earn 10 grand a month, when you start earning 10 grand, it becomes a working part of the mind. It's no big deal. And you have to preempt the mind. So what we do with our patients when they come around and they want to be wealthy is I take them to the dealerships and they drive that 911 or that Rolls Royce. We go into the $1 million houses. We're priming the brain, remember, So what happens is when we get them there, they're not going to turn up at the house and go, oh my God, oh my God. No, the brain's going to go, oh, I remember this, boy, this is you. And we go on forward because we will self-sabotage. Oh, I don't think I can afford it. I'm not too sure. Internal dialogue, man, will ruin you.
You know, it's so many things to unpack there and all amazing. I pray to God that I can remember all of them. The first one I want to talk
write
about.
Everything down, Shawn.
You're just so, dude, I'm just so like entranced by what you're saying. I'm like, I have my pencil in my hand and I'm not even writing. You know, going back to what you just said about believing in yourself, you're never going to be ready. And I tell you what, Monday, I resigned from corporate America. I have had the most amazing and fulfilled week that I've had in very many years, Dr. Robb Kelly. I tell you, I feel at peace. You know, there is a level of anxiety, but I understand where it's coming from and I'm working in spite of it. And I've had a massive week for my business, you know, a massive week. And it feels great. And it feels great to know that I finally freaking bet on myself. And it goes back to what you're saying. I was never going to be ready. No. There's always going to be a reason, an excuse. Yeah. My wife being afraid, like, but the bottom line is like, I don't want to die at 45 and live until I'm 85.
Boom. There you go. That's a great piece of information, guys. You know, you'll never be ready. You don't want to die at 45 and live till 65. You just don't want to do it because when you step out of that comfort zone, for which, by the way, there are no champions or successful people built in the comfort zone. So we need to step out that and have a plan A. Again, if you want to build a car detailing company, it's simple to become a millionaire doing that. You know, learn how to do it, go forward, get a website, get some clients, get them to do reviews and spread and spread and spread. But believe that this is your niche. Everybody has a niche in life. And yeah, we can join America. We can When you work for somebody else, you're never fulfilled. I'm sorry, guys, but you just, I love my job. Brilliant. I love that. But do you really? The only reason why I go to work is to earn money. When you branch out like you have, Shawn, and I have, we don't do it for the money. The money you don't have to worry about. It's going to be there. It's like when we step out and do stuff for us and do stuff because we want to do it and help people because we want to do it, miraculous things happen. Never seen it not happen in the 63 years that I've been alive. Never seen it not happen. What I've seen happen is people pull away and start businesses with that internal dialogue and learned behavior from families like, you're a piece of crap, you're never going to do it. This is not going to work well. Guess what? If you're telling yourself that, the brain will pick that up. The brain will run with that. They're here and now. They're 24 hours at a time before the body goes into repair and 3 parts of the brain reset every 24 hours. Today is the day. You don't have time, guys. Most people that we interviewed on deathbed from families, they all said one thing: I thought I had more time. You don't have time. Ladies, moms, and when's the last time you said, I was waving little Johnny off to play school, to kindergarten, next minute I'm waving him off to college. You don't have time.
Yeah, man. You know, it's crazy. Like when we were talking about, I mean, first of all, yeah, I mean, I have a young family. I have a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And my 10-year-old's going to middle school next year because it starts 5th grade around here at a certain school. And he's going to be playing middle school baseball. Where'd that time go? I always think like, okay, he's 10 years old. He's 10 years old. Daughter's 7. Another daughter that's 5. Am I being the example for them? Right? Am I being the example? And today it was funny because I was thinking that as I'm helping them get ready for school. I'm making their breakfast and I'm like, I wonder what they're thinking, right? They see me doing these shows and they see, it was a really funny moment. My son has his own Apple Touch, or his like iPod Touch. Starts running down the hallway, freaking out. Dad! I'm like, dude, what's going on? What happened? You good? He's like, you're on Google. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're everywhere. I'm like, stop it. Let me see. And, you hit Google and I'm like, huh, ain't that some shit? Like, you don't have time not to do it. My point with that is when I first started this is the only time I ever Googled my name and I didn't even come up. Now it's everywhere. Page 1. You don't have time. Messy action is great action. The other thing is when you're talking about neuroplasticity and we're talking about rewiring the neural pathways in our brain through the strategies like brain spotting and some of the clinical things that you do. I think it's also important when you're working out and when you're got some oxygen going into your muscles and your brain and the blood's flowing, man, put something good in your ears. Put something amazing into your ears. You don't need the music. What you need, some music is good, but like what you need is something that's going to feed your soul. And I was listening to the other day, I ran into it, the podcast of Lewis Howes and Rhonda Byrne. And one quote stuck out to me. And that show, that interview with Rhonda Byrne, and for those of you that don't know that are listening, she created the documentary, The Secret. What I didn't realize is when she did that, she did it all on credit cards. She was broke. She was broke. And when I watched The Secret, I'm like, man, this is the most powerful thing. This person must be a billionaire. Now to hear her story, like 20 some odd years later, she was broke. She did it on credit cards. And the other thing was, they said, and you kind of touched on it earlier, about happiness is an inside job. And to take it further, money doesn't bring happiness, but happiness brings money. It's crazy. That's what they said in the show. And it just, to me, it reinforced the fact that I got to put some really good personal development stuff in my dome while I'm lifting these weights and getting stronger. I need to really be strengthening my mind in this time. I'm not messing around with the rap music that I like or the country music that I like. Like, man, let's use this time as my act of meditation.
Yeah, I mean, from babies, what we see is how we feel, and what we hear we believe to be the truth. That's how we learn things. But it's the same as adults. I watch a funny movie, I feel happy. I watch a sad movie, I feel sad. But what's going in here is feeding my mind, which programs my brain. Okay, so if I'm hearing bad stuff, I mean, worse, even internal dialogue pertaining to what I'm listening to, then I'm going to start believing that. So positivity is very, very contagious. Being successful is very, very contagious. But if you're on 40,000 a year and you want to earn 60, hang around the guys that earn 60. You'll soon be the 10th person that does it. It's the mirroring part of the brain. We pick up on this stuff. We move forward, have a plan, don't have a plan B, execute, end of story. That's it. And stay in the moment. You've got to be awake all of the time. You can't just go through life mundane with the same old pattern. No, stop for a second in the morning. You do all your routine, do journaling at nighttime, do it with your left hand, not your right hand, vice versa, whatever your dominant hand is. And your life will start to change because it was always meant to change. And if you're listening to this podcast, you was always meant to listen to this podcast. You see, there's patterns in everything we do. There's a cycle in addiction. There's a cycle of becoming famous. There's a cycle of becoming wealthy. The cycle of becoming the best father in the world. There's a pattern to it and a routine and circuitry to make sure we get there and stop listening to people. I have two haters of all the millions of people, which I think is good. When my two haters start paying my mortgage, I'm going to start listening to them. Until then, says who?
Says who? God, it's so good, man. So good. Says who, right? And, haters, guys, I want you to understand something. We've talked about this on my show many times, but I want to reiterate it because Dr. Robb Kelly just touched on it. Haters are going to be the people that aren't doing even close to the amount of the stuff that you're doing. They want to throw shade so you fall down the ladder so they can climb. It's the classic crabs in a bucket, man. What you need to do is you need to bring your internal voice. You need to turn that shit up so loud that you can't hear anything, because everything that I've done, I left teaching. I was an exceptional student education teacher and a baseball coach. And when I left it to sell payroll about 10 years ago, people laughed at me. Like, what? You're doing what? Yeah, I guess he thinks he's going to go make all this money. Guess what? I did. And now I own my own payroll company. Right? And now I own this company. And they're still talking. It's okay. The only person that needs to believe in you 100%, y'all, is you.
Yeah.
How would you, because that's a hard one to do, Rob, right? How would you instruct them to begin? What's a tip besides the stuff that we've already talked about?
Two things you have to remember, guys. There's two kinds of people in this world. The people that love you for who you are and the people that want to be you. Once you get that mindset, you'll understand. It's repetition with everything repetition, dialogue, but don't you have to scream it out, but say it loud. So in a day, it's going to be a great day today. This is what I'm going to achieve today. Not this is what I want. This is what I'm going to achieve today, and make everything positive. But do it over and over and over again. Eat a little bit better, rest a little bit better. You need 20 minutes of exercise. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins are the 4 chemicals that need to happen every day to get you happy and get you in the right mood to succeed. You have to remember, though, that serotonin and dopamine are created in the gut. So you can't eat McDonald's all the time and expect to get to the peak performance. It's not going to happen. So there's certain things, but it's that belief. Don't put the brakes on your imagination, guys. I've seen hundreds of thousands miracles through the years, but I see miracles every day with people who thought, I don't know too much. The more you tell someone they can do it, the more they start to believe. So surround yourself with the good people. Don't surround yourself with don't have nothing to do with negative people. Look at J.K. Rowling. How many times was she turned down? First billionaire author, female. Look at the Beatles. How many times were they turned down? The biggest pop stars in the world. If you turn down for anything, guy, you'll realize this. Something better is lingering here. Oh, I didn't get that. Something's better lingering here, because there's patterns to everything and a spiritual connection and energy connecting to this that's going to take you to a better place. If you're happy over here in this comfort zone, brilliant. Stay there, love you to bits, do what you got to do. But listen to this, guys. This isn't about you. This is about being leaders. This is about taking people to another place. Everybody can be a leader. So if you're okay in this comfort zone, stay there, buddies. But I'm talking to you at home who thinks, I wonder if it was me. Yes, it's you. Get out. Get it done. Be a leader. Start believing. Start walking like a leader, eating like a leader, sleeping like a leader. Imagine yourself in a movie being the hero of the movie. I had to do that at the beginning. I was Arnold Schwarzenegger, walking to my car and going to work. And, people started treating me different. When I started loving myself and believing me, I could do it, people joined in on that. Oh, wow. I was in Dallas. I lived in Dallas for 12 years before coming here 4 years ago. I was thinking of writing a book. All my guys showing around me said, you're not an author, Rob. I mean, come on. Never wrote a book. I came here 4 years ago, a new set of guys, my friends. And I said to one of them one day, I'm thinking of writing a book. This was the reaction. Holy crap, you've not wrote a book? Oh my God, I would read that. Oh, you need to do that. Guess what? I wrote a book. And this is important for you to understand, guys. You can't stay in stagnant water and expect to swim with the dolphins. Get out of that pond, get into this pond, start living life to the full. People around you will appreciate that.
I love that, man, because, I can look at my middle daughter, and this morning she got upset because she was trying to build like a little fort out of pillows for my youngest daughter's little panda stuffed animal. She wanted to be so special, and it kept falling over, and she got really like in her feelings and depressed that she couldn't fulfill this surprise for her sister. And the rest of the morning, she's like on the couch, just like before we left, and she's like almost in tears. And I asked her, I go, how do you feel right now? She goes, sad. I go, no, I can say that, but how does that feel? Does it feel good or bad? Like, walk me through it. Well, it feels terrible, Daddy. I go, well, how do we get there? How do we get there? Because, well, I can't build this fort. I go, okay, you had a bad moment. And this goes back to what you said earlier. Was it a full day or a bad 5 minutes spread across, peanut buttered all over your whole day? Really. And it's really bad moments that we allow to perpetuate our whole beingness. And that's where things get really, really tricky. And, by the time I walked out the door and got her in her car seat, she was fine. But like, dude, like that right there, like that is happening everywhere. We need leaders to help people out of that. That to me, a lot of parents can look at that and say, well, my daughter's just in a bad mood. To me, I could not drop her off at school like that. I just couldn't do it, man.
Really important. And you're programming, people to be successful, and you're telling them at an early age, and your kids and everything. You have to do that in the world. Remember when men used to build monstrous bridges and, all stuff, went to work, they had a permanent. What happened to them guys? I don't see them guys on a regular basis. Yeah. I see the guys out there that want to, sit at home, play video games all day, and then get a job that just sits in front of a computer all day. I don't see leaders, and I don't want to cause any controversy in the show, but when you start having cry rooms in offices, there's something wrong somewhere. That's why God gives.
Is there cry rooms in offices?
Oh yeah.
What?
It's just like listen. I see a therapist 30 years on, and I will always see one because it's my time to vent or say what I got to do. It's fun.
Sure, of course.
Go see one, But it's about America needs to stand up and see what is going on around here, and start leading stuff again. Start building monstrous things. Start creating, teams and communities. And I hate to say this because I don't like the Beatles, but they were right. All we need is love. So that love, you've got to lead from the top. Nobody's going to take that lead. I'm the guy on the elevator in the morning with 20 people. Everyone's looking different directions. I'm the guy that goes, okay, who's a 10 out of 10 today, guys? They're all joining in, but they need that one guy. Otherwise, they're walking around blind all day. Compliment people, guys. Compliment 3 people every day. Nobody does that anymore. I remember in Dallas, two of my girls. One nurse just joined and one nurse has been with me since the beginning. And he said, did you see that guy come in? He was suicidal. He wouldn't speak to anybody. Dr. Kelly spent an hour with him. He'd come out. He was laughing. He was hugging the girls. Dr. Robb Kelly is amazing, isn't he? And the nurse said, yeah, he is. Have you told him that? Oh, no, I wouldn't. He already knows, obviously. Yeah. Nobody knows. Not telling shit. If you think someone's good, tell them they're good. We're missing out on this.
Happens all the time, man. When someone comes, I had an interview with one of my buddies on his show the other day. And after recording, he's just like, man, I just really admire you. I was like, huh? He goes, you know that, right? I go, well, now I do. I didn't know. I don't know how people view me. I know what I'm pushing for every single day. Right. But, to your point, even opening doors for people is weird now. So, and it's especially weird at the gym. I'm going to tell you, the gym has turned into something to me that it's almost kind of unbearable at times. The girls are barely wearing any clothes. I'm a 45-year-old man. I got a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful daughters, and a son. I'm there to work out, man. Period. End of story. And so when I'm walking out, I hold the door open. But this young girl is probably 5 steps behind me. And she goes, well, thanks, but I'm not interested. I'm like, me neither. I just opened the door for you. It's the right thing to do. And by the way, I'm married. What are you talking about? I just opened the door for you so you can exit. It's the right thing to do. And it just blows me away. I'm thinking holy shit, that's where we're at?
He goes,
it's a door.
It's a door. And, I've done that. People just walk in. I say thanks back to them and they turn around. But, somebody said you don't have to do that. And I said, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. I need to do these good things every day. I need to be kind, courteous. I need to act accordingly, dress accordingly, speak accordingly. That's just the way I run my life because I have to. Because this deal is life or death for me, But these things I do. I bless somebody, Shawn, and only because I can. I bless somebody monetarily every single day I leave the house. I don't care who it is. You're getting some money off me. Even at the signal, them guys, they're just going to go and buy drugs with it. Good. That's what I would do if I was homeless.
Or says who?
Exactly. It's just there's so many people want to, give their opinion. A friend of mine's a comedian, and after the show, this girl walked up and said, that joke was offensive. And he said, no. You found it offensive doesn't make it offensive. And I was stood there with my mouth wide open. Oh my God. Because we're listening to that person. That one person out of millions of people. I saw this guy, that one person, we listen to that person and then we distort ourselves internally of being that guy that went too far. It's not true.
Yeah, I agree.
Tested, I'm sure.
I'm sure I've offended many people or taken offense.
I used to, Shawn.
Yeah,
I get and look at my Googles. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit. I also, if I've upset you on this radio show and you're in the program, call your sponsor. Call him. I don't give a shit. I really don't. What I say is the truth.
There might be a cry room at their office.
Yeah, go there. I'm the wrong person to tell me.
Yeah, dude.
Shit,
I think we're all responsible for our own emotions and how we feel, man. I mean, and I think that at times we can I can definitely get away from that. And especially in a marriage, right? Like, well, I felt this way when you did this. And I'm really looking at it, we all want to feel validated in a relationship. We want to be heard, but look at him like it was never about her. Never about her. That is my interpretation of what happened. That's on me, man. That's on me. Right. So, hey man, I was going to land a plane a little bit here. Like, this has been such an amazing conversation. I've truly enjoyed it. I knew it was going to be a good one, but this has been one of the most fun, energetic, and just badass episodes that I've recorded in a very long time. And I think what makes it that way is your ability to be so kind and courteous, like you mentioned, but also to bring so much good information to the listeners, man. So what I want to do right now is two things. One, I want you to leave them with, maybe a quote or maybe just a piece of advice. And then two, tell everybody how they can find you, be a part of what you're doing, and root for you every single day.
First thing I want to say to you guys is, just believe, first of all. But secondly, I want to say to you that if you're at home and you're never going to amount to anything, you kind of never be tall enough, blonde enough, rich enough, or thin enough, that syndrome, when everyone's told you you're a piece of crap. First of all, I want to apologize to you because somebody's put that there. Okay? So listen to this real careful, guys. If you're at home in that position now, if you're almost at the edge, the jumping off edge, 214-600-0210 is my personal cell phone number. Text me, and this is what's going to happen. As soon as I'm free, I'm going to call you back. We're going to have a 15, 20-minute pep talk that will change your life. And do you know if it doesn't? I'm going to send you $100 for wasting your time. Never send me $100 next. Secondly, RobbKelly.com. I spell my name with two B's if you're just listening and not watching, guys. RobbKelly.com. Go on, if you can't afford a book on there, let me know. I'll send it free. It's not about the money. RobbKellyFoundation.org is on there. Really big into that. And what's different about that is you donate $100. And when we go out and we give that $100 to somebody for whatever reason, that guy I've given it to will call you, the donator, and let you know where that's gone. So I don't do this. Most people do these for building the business and hoping that they'll get some clients. I don't want any money. I've got enough clients. It's nothing to do with that. I'd rather spend a 20-minute phone call with you to change your life than hear of your suicide next week. So come on, guys. Dr. Robb Kelly in any search engine in the world. Put that in. I'll come up all over the place. Let's chat. Let's tweet. Let's talk, man, and make this world a better place, because you at home listening to this, thinking I can't call, is who I'm talking to. Make that first call. Make that first text. You tell you, man. I must be one of the few guys like yourself. I don't want something from people. I want something for people. I want you to be better than me. I want to raise you higher, that earn more money, be more respected, all this stuff that I want you to be here, and I'll do whatever it takes to help you get there, patient or no patient. We're always advertising on Facebook. Who needs $100 today? Will $200 change your life? We do toy drives, we do Christmas, we do all that stuff to give back. And that is my key, Shawn, is giving back. When I stop doing it.
I love it. I love it. Say the number one more time for them. 614-200.
214-600-0210. That's my personal. It's not my secretary. It's not my assistant. It's not front desk. Yeah. It's me. So just text me. Just let me know. Hey, I know you're busy, but and as soon as I'm free, I'll text you back and we'll arrange a time to call each other, maybe a Zoom. I'll change your life, man. In 15 minutes, I'll change your direction, period. Otherwise,
that's great. I'm gonna text you because I'm gonna be friends with you. That's why I'm gonna text your ass. So, that's why I'm gonna text you. Yeah. But look, man, thank you again so much. An audience, you heard it. Don't sit there and be too prideful not to reach out to this man. Right? He gave his number 2 times on this show, and I want you to take advantage of it if you're feeling those dark days. If you feel like winter is not just coming, it is here, and it's a never-ending winter. I want you to reach out to Robb Kelly. And I love you, and I know he does, and we appreciate you for listening. And be sure to share this show with somebody that you know that it would resonate with. And until that time, guys, be determined. Talk to you soon. Southwest Florida is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. For those of you that are thinking of moving from other states to come to Florida, or even just moving to a different part of the state, I want you to think of a big, beautiful luxury home. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. They are a family-owned and operated luxury residential construction company. As a family-owned business, they believe in the power of building not just homes, but legacies. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. The nightmare of feeling like you'll never measure up, of constant second guessing and self-doubt. It eats away at you and destroys your confidence. I've been there too, feeling like I didn't belong on the field with my teammates, but it doesn't have to stay that way. I used to compare myself to everyone around me. I thought that no matter how hard I worked, I'd never be as good as the other guys. It killed my self-belief. I now help athletes develop an elite mindset so comparison no longer controls them. We teach techniques to cut out the negative self-talk and unlock their full potential. Imagine stepping into the box when it counts the most and feeling totally confident in your ability. Feeling invincible instead of insecure, ready to seize the opportunity instead of shrinking from it. That's the mindset I help athletes develop. Don't waste another minute on comparison and self-doubt. Take control of your mindset and become the confident, unstoppable competitor you are meant to be. DM or comment below to get started with Edge and transform your mental game.
Social media is a critical part of your game. Our easy-to-use app takes the hassle and guesswork out of posting, and our innovative marketing strategy will get you noticed. It's time to break away from the crowd and stand out. Start your athlete narrative today.